Greetings, fellow seekers of truth and knowledge. Picture this. July 20th, 1969. The Apollo 11 lunar module, Eagle, lands on the moon. Astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, encased in their spacesuits, prepare to step out into the lunar landscape. Armstrong struggles to open the door against the vacuum of space, but finally manages to push it open. As he descends the ladder, his bulky suit brushes against the top of the hatch, snapping off a crucial component, the ascent engine arming switch. This switch is essential for the lunar module's return journey to Earth. But in the airless lunar environment, no sound is heard, and the astronauts continue their mission oblivious to their peril. Armstrong steps onto the lunar surface, uttering those immortal words, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." But did it really happen? Over 50 years later, doubts persist. Some argue that the whole event was a carefully crafted hoax, orchestrated by the United States during the height of the Cold War. They point to anomalies like the fluttering flag in a supposedly airless environment as proof. The origins of the Apollo 11 mission are rooted in a different kind of conflict, the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a fierce space race. The Soviets took an early lead, launching the first artificial satellite, Sputnik, in 1957. The Americans swiftly followed suit. But when Yuri Gagarin became the first man in space in 1961, the stakes were raised. In response, American President John F. Kennedy challenged his nation to land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth before the end of the decade. This audacious goal was set against the backdrop of a world without smartphones, internet, or even GPS technology. Despite these hurdles, Kennedy committed between $7 and $9 billion over the next 5 years to achieve this monumental task. In summary, the Apollo 11 mission continues to inspire awe and controversy over half a century later. Rooted in the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, it represented a monumental achievement in human exploration. However, the lingering doubts and conspiracy theories surrounding the mission reflect a deep-seated mistrust in official narratives. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of space, these questions serve as a reminder to always seek the truth, no matter how far it may take us.
Imagine a time before man had ever set foot on the moon, a time when space was still an unexplored frontier. It seems like a distant memory, but it was less than 60 years ago that the Apollo 11 mission changed the course of human history forever. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy made a daring promise. He vowed that by the end of the decade, the United States would land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. This bold declaration sparked a flurry of activity at NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The goal was clear, but the path to achieving it was less certain. Over the next 2 years, NASA received a massive influx of funding. The entire agency worked tirelessly toward this one goal. By 1963, the first tests began. Rockets designed to escape Earth's atmosphere were put to the test. The heat shields of the command modules were scrutinized for their ability to withstand extreme temperatures. The propulsion systems of the service modules were examined for their reliability. Between 1963 and 1967, a series of unmanned tests were conducted. The rockets were sent to space without a single human aboard. In February 1967, plans were made for the first manned mission, Apollo 1. Tragically, during a test on Earth, a fire broke out in the cabin, claiming the lives of the 3 astronauts preparing for the mission. Despite this heartbreaking setback, NASA pressed on. Apollo 4, Apollo 5, and Apollo 6 were all unmanned missions that followed, each contributing to the knowledge and experience needed for a successful moon landing. In October 1968, Apollo 7 marked the return of humans to space. This mission was a success. Just 2 months later, Apollo 8 was launched, sending 3 astronauts to orbit the moon. In March 1969, Apollo 9 was launched to test the lunar module, the part of the spacecraft that would actually land on the moon. In May 1969, Apollo 10 rehearsed almost every aspect of the upcoming Apollo 11 mission, without actually landing on the moon. Finally, on July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 was launched. 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff, we have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. The mission was led by 38-year-old Commander Neil Armstrong, with Michael Collins as the command module pilot and Buzz Aldrin as the lunar module pilot. The Apollo 11 spacecraft was composed of 3 main parts: the command module, service module, and lunar module. The lunar module would detach and land on the moon, then reattach to the command and service module for the return journey. This monumental task was accomplished with the help of a Saturn V5 rocket, loaded with 1 million gallons of kerosene, liquid oxygen, and liquid hydrogen. Weighing in at 3 million kilograms, this rocket propelled the spacecraft into Earth's orbit in less than 10 minutes. From the daring promise of a president to the tireless efforts of NASA, the Apollo 11 mission marked a significant milestone in human history. It is a testament to the power of determination, courage, and innovation. In this video, we have traced the journey of the Apollo 11 mission from its inception to its successful launch. We have explored the trials and triumphs, the setbacks and successes, and the relentless determination that led to one of humankind's most significant achievements.
Have you ever wondered about the first moon landing? That momentous event that forever etched July 20th, 1969 in our collective memory. It all began with the successful landing of the Eagle. Neil Armstrong, donned in his spacesuit, opened the door and stepped onto the moon, his actions watched by an audience of 650 million people. His first words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," were broadcast live worldwide. Not long after, Buzz Aldrin joined Armstrong on the lunar surface. They spent the next 2.5 hours collecting samples of lunar dust and rocks, snapping photographs and setting up several scientific instruments. While the Cold War may have been a catalyst for this momentous event, the landing was not just a political move. The astronauts carried scientific instruments that would help us understand more about the moon and space. A television camera was set up to transmit signals back to Earth. A device was brought to measure the solar winds reaching the moon. Another device, aimed at sending laser beams back to Earth, was installed to calculate the exact distance between Earth and the moon. And let's not forget the passive seismometer, designed to measure moonquakes. Their mission yielded 23 kilograms of lunar rock and dust. They left behind an American flag and a plate inscribed with the words, "Here, men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon, July 1969 AD. The lunar module, their home for 21 hours, faced a small hiccup. A broken switch threatened to halt their return journey. However, Buzz Aldrin ingeniously used his ballpoint pen to complete the circuit and reignite the engine. Once reattached to the Command and Service Module, CSM, the trio set their sights on Earth. The plan was to separate the Command Module from the Service Module, which would be destroyed by Earth's atmosphere. But a malfunctioning thruster on the Service Module complicated matters. The astronauts could only watch as the Service Module broke apart around them, debris floating dangerously close. Miraculously, the Command Module remained unscathed. The risks were so high that President Nixon had prepared an alternate speech in case the worst came to pass. Imagine that, an alternate speech for a mission deemed nearly impossible. And so, the first moon landing stands as a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. It's a tale of triumph against the odds, a story of courage and determination that continues to inspire us to reach for the stars.
Did man really step foot on the moon, or was it all an elaborate hoax? A question that has intrigued minds for over half a century. So let's delve into the epic journey of the Apollo 11 mission, a voyage that forever etched the names Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins into the annals of human history. The story begins on July 16, 1969, as the Saturn V rocket roared to life, propelling the trio into the cosmos. Their destination? The moon, a celestial body that had fascinated humanity for eons. After a journey of approximately 240,000 miles, the lunar module, aptly named Eagle, separated from the command module, Columbia. On July 20th, 1969, Armstrong and Aldrin descended to the lunar surface while Collins orbited above. Armstrong's first step onto the lunar surface was a monumental moment echoed in his immortal words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Their mission on the moon was one of exploration and discovery. They set up scientific experiments, collected lunar samples, and yes, planted the American flag, a moment that has since sparked countless conspiracy theories. Yet, the most critical part of their mission was still to come, the return home. A contingency speech was even prepared by President Nixon's speechwriter, William Safire, in case the astronauts were stranded on the moon. Fortunately, such a tragic outcome was averted. On July 24, 1969, the command module splashed down in the Pacific Ocean, the astronauts safe and sound. Post-mission, they were quarantined for 2 weeks, a precautionary measure against any potential lunar pathogens. This monumental achievement was celebrated worldwide, fulfilling President Kennedy's promise of landing a man on the moon before the end of the 1960s. Yet, even today, doubts linger. Was the moon landing staged to give America an upper hand in the Cold War? Such conspiracy theories, however, have been thoroughly debunked. The Soviet Union, America's Cold War adversary, acknowledged the moon landing in the Great Soviet Encyclopedia. As for the fluttering flag, it was due to a horizontal rod added to keep the flag extended in the absence of wind, a detail that was overlooked by those propagating the hoax theory. So, there you have it, the story of the Apollo 11 mission, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. It's a tale of overcoming odds, of pushing boundaries, and ultimately, of stepping into the unknown. The moon landing wasn't a hoax, it was a triumph, a moment that forever changed our perception of the cosmos and our place within it.